wind down a little bit. Good morning, everybody. Here we go. Live from the UK, my first stream in the UK, and here in my sister's house. So if you've got some sound, leave a message in the box. Billy Bob, morning, Les. So can everybody, the sound is okay? Hear you loud and clear. Okay, thanks very much. Oh, we got 11 on. That was quick. So good morning from Retired and Living the Dream in sunny Redcar. For those people who've been watching my videos, you'll have seen that I've never been really warm in the 3 weeks that I've been here now. And although today's a nice sunny day, it's still cold. But hey ho, this is England. Having lived in Thailand for the best part of 11 years now, you do feel that the temperature when you come elsewhere, and it's taken its toll on me today. Daryl, thanks very much. Morning. Merlin Bit, join the club. Farang Travels, good morning. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Yep, so I'm going to go through some of the things that actually a lot of people have asked with regard to. Some people might have seen my videos where within 24 hours of getting here, I was in accident in emergency. And a lot of people have asked about the getting treated by the NHS because I've been living outside of England for all of them years. And I've got to say, the treatment was superb. Once I got through the main entry into the hospital, the treatment was second to none. It was brilliant. But pains in my chest, so we called the ambulance out, and I'd never had pains in my chest like that before. Again, they were quite severe. So we rang up the ambulance service, and they said because of the systems being overloaded, they were going to take an hour. Long story short, it took 4 hours for the ambulance to come, even though I was a category 1, and that should have warranted a response within 18 minutes. And the ambulance crew that I was speaking to, they had a patient in their ambulance for 4 hours before it could get to the NHS. Now, I've seen all of the trouble on the TV with regard to the emergency services and the hospitals being overrun. I've got to say I was there firsthand, and I seen what was going on, and it's not a pretty picture. I got there at about 4:30 in the morning, and I thought, I'll be whisked straight through because there won't be many people there. And there were 6 people, all ladies and old guys on trolleys in the corridor waiting to be seen in accident and emergency. It was shocking to see, really. And then people go on about no police on our streets. There was 4 police officers with 2 guys that had been fighting and broken their noses and battle scars. So the police were tied up for 5 hours waiting for these offenders to be looked at by the doctor. So it's 4 policemen off our streets during the night because of 2 drunks fighting. It was horrendous to see. It really, really was. And just watching the news, that's the way things are going to go in the UK with regard to everything's just crumbling. You know, the crime is on the increase and that. But once I got into the main emergency daycare centre, and I had a scan, they did a CT scan and chest X-rays and things like that, and never once was I asked where do I live, or do I live in the UK? And I just give all the information. I didn't lie to them. I said I've been on holiday and I was traveling around the world, so I haven't lived in this country for a number of years because I've been traveling. not a question asking about, oh, well, if you haven't been here for so long, you've got to pay, which was reassuring for those people who were of an older age, if you like, and if something goes wrong with their health-wise, they're going to have to return back to England. I had no problem with that, and I still haven't had any problem with that. So fingers crossed. You know, my plan, I've got the basic health insurance in Thailand. So if anything goes wrong, I'm covered for 700,000 baht. That's like a sticking plaster to get me onto a plane and get me over here if something goes wrong. So that's just the way it is. So that was my trip to the hospital and the medical care from there. It was good, second to none. Okay, let's have a look at this. Les, I'm moving to Thailand next year. Should I keep my UK phone contact? Well, yeah and no, really. I mean, once you get over Thailand, you set up a new phone, you know, SIM card and things like that. I don't have a UK telephone number here, to be honest. And when I got back into England, it was 75 pence to get a SIM card from WH Smith in King's Cross. So it was dead easy to get a SIM card over here. Now, to get a SIM card in Thailand, you've got to have your passport, proof of address, all sorts of things. They want to know actually who is using the phone lines in Thailand. Whereas in England, you can just walk into any shop and open up an account, no problem whatsoever. But if people ring you on your English mobile number, then you're going to pay the cost because people are phoning you from abroad. So I would say you can keep your English phone contacts, but give everybody else your number. I mean, nowadays we can phone up on Facebook, Messenger and things like that, WhatsApp and Line, and it's totally free. So by keeping your English number, I suppose you can go onto WhatsApp and Line, and that makes everything free, which is good. So let's have a look on here. How am I getting on with the time difference from Thailand? Must get sleepy around 4 p.m. I do. Last night, I went out with a few firefighter friends that I joined the fire service with, and this was my third week as from yesterday. And normally I'm in bed by 10 o'clock here. But I got in this morning at 1:30, and from 10 o'clock, I was like, I just want to go home. I'm tired. So yeah, the time difference, it does affect me. It affects me more coming this way than it does going back to Thailand, to be honest. And as I say, because your body clock, it's 7 hours difference from Thailand to here. So your body clock does take some getting used to it. But yes, it does. It gets used to it. Right. Morning, Richard. Mark in Thailand. Evening, Les. Hope it's not too cold. It is cold. Cold, very cold. And the weather is due to get colder next week. I'm going to Whitby for a couple of days next week. So I'm staying at a hotel in Whitby. I'm meeting a couple of people in Whitby. And so I've decided, I love Whitby. It's just maybe it's an hour away from where we live. And it just gives my sister a break and me a break. And it just like treat it as a little holiday. But I'll be doing a vlog from Whitby, and I'm staying in the Wetherspoons at Whitby. And everybody who's been watching my videos know I like Wetherspoons now because it's very good value for the food in there and the coffee. It's cheapest coffee in Redcar, £1.35 for as many cups of coffee as you want. Which brings me on to price. It's 3.5 years ago since I arrived in England the last time. And just the prices of everything, you know, £3 for a cup of coffee. I took my sister's daughter out the other morning for a bacon sandwich and a coffee and a latte. It came to £12. Now me and my wife live on £10 a day in Thailand, and that's for like 2 or 3 meals and cooking the meals. But here, you get a latte, a bacon sandwich, and a cappuccino for £11.90. It's just nothing is cheap over here anymore. Or that's how I feel. Many people say, well, that's just the way it is. That's the price of everything. But in comparison to what you pay in Thailand, it's treble the cost on most things. but the breakfast in the Wetherspoon is very, very good value. Jason just arrived back in Pattaya with my dreadful virus, but the tablets seem to be working. Yeah, no. As I say, I got off the plane and I had a cough. It's funny enough, it was only because I did one of my videos I realised I had a cough before I left Thailand. And once I got over here, that just floored me for almost a week. And as I say, I've still got a bit of a chesty cough now. But then I've also been diagnosed when I got took into hospital with emphysema. So, but it's a very mild emphysema. But as the doctor said, once you've got it, you've got it. It's never going to go away. And if anything, it's just going to get worse as the years go by. But I'm 62-year-old. Things are going to start going wrong when you get older, But the main thing is I had a CT scan. Everything showed okay with that. And I had the heart examination. So everything, the two biggest things that I feared, if you like, because of my sickness and illness, got looked at over here. So I don't have to worry now for quite a few more years thinking what's going wrong inside my body. But I just deal with the emphysema now. But I'm going down to see the doctors next week sometime and to get some medication and just have a long chat with him and see how we go from there. But Pattaya, you'll improve in time. It's a lovely place to be. Kevo, hi Les from Pattaya. Pattaya, as I say, we had 2 nights in Pattaya before we came over here. And that was just good. We go down to Pattaya to let our hair down. Morning, Peter. We go down to Pattaya to let our hair down because we sort of live semi-rural where we live. And Pattaya sort of got everything that you could ever ask for. It's good for, the live bands and things like that. And I met a couple of subscribers as well. And there was a YouTube meeting every first Saturday of every month. YouTubers have a meeting in the Wombat and Kiwi Bar in Jomtien. So that's good if you want to meet some YouTubers, Jason from Chocolate Man in Thailand and Greenie. So that there was Nick Dean, he was there as well. So it's a good to actually go and meet some of these people. So let's have a look. Emergency treatment and GP visits are no charge regardless of resident status. Any follow-up is different story. Well, the NHS over in England have a treat policy, treat first and then ask questions later. And as I say, that's the biggest fear that I've gathered on the YouTube. The fact that everybody's scared they're going to get charged a lot of money if they come back to England or they're going to be refused treatment. Now, I've sort of talked about this for 2 years now, and I've maybe had one person out of all them conversations I've had has said they've been refused treatment. So, and you can imagine I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of people and nobody has ever been refused treatment. And my view on that, because there are a few people out there who said I shouldn't be entitled to any treatment because I haven't lived in England for so many years. And in some ways, it's written that that's the case. If you don't live in England, you shouldn't get the treatment. But in my mind, I still pay taxes here when I get my pension. They still claim tax off my pension. I paid into the system for the best part of 50 years, 45 years or so. So therefore, and I've never claimed anything from the health service for the past 12 years. So am I not entitled to a little bit of healthcare if I come back and I want to use the services? And then I'll go next month and I probably won't be back for another few years. So in reality, I think I paid my dues, so therefore I should be entitled to a little bit of healthcare. And then you get the other people who argue about the people that come across on the boats from France. They get everything. They get all the healthcare. And if you're a criminal and you're in jail, you get free healthcare also because they have a duty of care towards you. So I'm a Mr. Nice Guy, so why shouldn't I be entitled to a little bit of treatment? There's some people going to agree with me and some people are going to disagree with me. We don't live in a perfect world, but at the end of the day, that's the way it goes. So our health service over here is second to none. Once you get into it, it's brilliant. But then I say I know a couple of people who've used the public hospitals in Thailand, and again, within 3 or 4 hours, the treatment is quick. You get your results very quick. So it's worthwhile for those people who, even if they don't have medical insurance, to visit the public hospital. Don't be scared of it, because it's not that expensive. But he travelled back to the UK from Bangkok, pick up during the trip 2 weeks down. I don't. But he travelled back from the UK, from Bangkok, picked up the vid during the trip 2 weeks down. Oh, it picked up a virus from, yeah. Well, I was on the plane for 13 hours, and whether I got anything from that, I don't know. But I don't like the 13-hour flight. When I go back, I'm flying with Emirates. It was actually, I got a good deal with Emirates flying from Newcastle. It was just as cheap as flying from London Heathrow. Now, many people said to me, that they couldn't do that, all the travelling. But from London on the high-speed train, getting to Redcars, 3 hours and 5 minutes. Now, by taxi from Newcastle, it's an hour to get from Newcastle to where I live. So it's only 2 hours difference when all's said and done. And I like travelling. I'm retired now, so I'm not in a rush, so I don't need to rush anywhere. Yeah, 4 hours for the ambulance. The government is gutting the whole system. It's ridiculous. There was on the news yesterday, a lady broke her hip, and from making the call to actually getting treated was 40 hours. And she had to wait in the ambulance for 26 hours before she could get into the hospital. Imagine being in the ambulance for 26 hours. It's getting decimated. I mean, all the strike action now with the postal workers, with the rail companies, the nurses are going to go on strike. The fire brigade are balloted for strike action, and it's sort of a winter of discontent. And everybody's not very happy. But you can understand, we've had austerity now since the financial crash in 2008. And everybody's paid for it, and they're still paying for it. And it might be another 10 years before things start to get better. Things have got to get better. I think that they actually should pay everybody more. It's the working class that keep the country going. But that's my opinion. Let's have a look. When John's journeys, when will I be back in Thailand? Concerning my moving up there, I will be in Thailand in 1 week for 4 weeks, and I'm off to Malaysia. I come back on the 30th Friday. This is pushing me luck, or some people say Friday the 13th of January. But then I go to my wife's farm and pick her up, and I'm going to spend a week at the farm. So the likelihood I'm back into where I live at the back end of January. Now my wife's grandmother isn't very well, and then they're cutting the rice now, and hasn't been very good weather-wise, so it's taken some time to get the rice dried and things like that. So at the end of the day, she's enjoying the time with her family as well. So end of January is before I'm coming back. Jason Bourne, what about your pension? That you were told that if you live abroad, you don't get the increase every year. That's absolutely 100% correct. But I've done a couple of videos on that, on how you can actually get your pension, the increases. Again, it's not a perfect fit. It's a bit of a workaround. But with us living in Thailand, we don't get them rises at all. But the Philippines does, because the Philippines is a reciprocal country. And bearing in mind, next year it's going to be a 10.1% pay rise, and the likelihood the year after it's going to be 7% pay rise, or this is what they're predicting. So for them 2 years, you're going to have an increase of 17% on your pension. Now, a 17% rise on your pension actually pays for your holiday, if you like, the government will use your money to pay you to go on holiday for 185 days. And by doing that in the Philippines or Turkey or any reciprocal country, any cheap country that you want to go and visit, I mean, I've suggested that some people live 3 months in Turkey, live 3 months in England, and then go back to Thailand. And as long as you're 185 days in one of them reciprocal countries, you get the rises at the new rate. And whilst you're in the countries, whilst you're living there, you get the new rate also. It's only if you leave that rate drops back down to the original, unless you've been there for 185 days. There's a meeting this month, I believe, with the government, because it's a 70-year rule about the pension rises not being adhered to those 500,000 pensioners who live abroad. And so there's a meeting this month, but then they're going to make a decision next month. But already I've seen it on the news that they're, instead of giving everybody a rise, they're going to up the retirement age to 68. They ain't going to give you your money. You had an emergency treatment which is at no charge, regardless of resident status and in any GP visits. Yeah. Like I said, Isan man, emergency treatment, they will always give emergency treatment and ask questions later. Unlike Thailand, where if you don't have any insurance or a credit card, things like that, then you don't actually get through the door on some hospitals, especially the big Bangkok Rayong hospitals, the private hospitals. Unless you have a credit card or insurance, you don't get through the door. Because I know that by experience, because of somebody, we got asked 3 times for our medical card before we even got through the door of the Bangkok Rayong Hospital. All right. The population has grown by 3.5 million in the past decade. That's why the public services have gone to pot. Yeah, exactly. There's more and more people, more and more houses getting built, and the infrastructure. And again, this has been mentioned a few times on some political programs, is that if they build a big, massive housing estate, you need schools, you need doctors, you need dentists, you need hospitals. I mean, I've got a broken crown here, and I was going to go to my dentist, and because I haven't been to my dentist for 11 years, I've been taken off the register, and they won't put me back onto the register because I haven't been living here for a while. And then trying to get a dentist around Redcar, impossible. Nobody will take me onto the books. I'll have to get it fixed when I come back to Thailand. But to get a crown fix, I've had one crown all done, and that was 15,000 baht. And this other one, it'd be another 15,000, so like 350 quid. I don't know how much that would cost in England to get the crown done, because I can't get to see a dentist. Crazy. So yeah, the infrastructure is gone down really, really bad. Don't firefighters have a higher rate of lung issues than the general population? Yes. Yeah, I'd agree with that. But I was sort of lucky because I was a driver, emergency appliance driver. So therefore, I actually didn't get committed to a lot of house fires and car fires and things like that, because I was a driver. And then in my last 10 years, I was an officer in charge. So therefore, even less likely to go into house fires and, where all the smoke is there. But the doctors asked why or what my job was with regard to, how they think I got emphysema. But working for the fire brigade, in my early days, we used to fight car fires with no breathing apparatus. You were classed as a bit of a pussy if you were fighting a car fire with no breathing apparatus on. You just breathed it, you just sucked it in and dealt with it. And same with house fires. After a house fire, we cleaned all the, got rid of embers and things like that. And the inhalation of all the smoke and all the burnt stuff whilst you're clearing out the house, that's got to do some damage as well. Whereas now, you've got to wear breathing apparatus sets for doing everything, and that's how it should be. And even now, with your fire kit, again, this is going back in the past. Sort of, if you had a dirty fire kit, you were a big roughy, toughy firefighter, because your fire kit showed that you've been into some some fires. But the stuff that hangs onto your jacket, and of course, every time you move your jacket, you're breathing in them pollens or the particles of it, and it doesn't do you any good whatsoever. So the fire service have actually upped their game with regard to, people being aware of the dangerous situations that they're in. My biggest gripe when I was younger, and I was working in a station of 9 people, and 7 of them smoked, and the 2 of us didn't. But then they had a discussion, and the TV room was the smokers' room. So if I wanted to watch TV with everybody, I had to sit in the room, and everybody's chugging away at cigarettes. So there's many things, and that's what the doctor said. Usually, emphysema is caused by passive smoking and things like that. So yeah, the fire service, I think, in my mind, has played a part in giving me the emphysema that I've got. But it's very mild, and you wouldn't really know that I've got it, and it's only because I had the CT scan that it picked it up. But it's one of them things, it's not going to get any better. Dean, morning. Are you looking? Oh, I'm looking well, thank you very much. Yeah, I would say the lifestyle in Thailand is more friendly and relaxed than in the UK. If there is one drawback to living in Thailand, what would that be? As you can see, I'm thinking very, very hard for this one, because for me, there is no drawbacks for living in Thailand. Where we live in Redcar, there are the scumbags that are driving around on a motorbike with no helmets on and just doing wheelies, and shoplifters all the time. Shoplifting now isn't classed as a crime. And so obviously there's lots of frustration, people going in and just stealing things. When I was in King's Cross, I was having my breakfast in Pret a Manger, and it was a very, very busy morning when I was there. And 2 guys just came in, took a £5 sandwich, picked it up, and just walked out, and just as if it was just the normal thing to do. So, but you see the crime, and you see there's a lot of more homelessness and people begging on the streets, even in Redcar. People sleeping under the shelters. Before in Redcar, you never ever seen that, but it's happening more and more now. Sadly, the whole place is going downhill. In fact, somebody put a photograph on Facebook the other day, and it sort of coins everything that's going on. There was about 10 illegal immigrants sat in a hotel with a hotel fire on, all sat in nice plush settees. And then there was an ex-serviceman begging, and then there's another guy, just a normal guy, begging with his dog outside. So these refugees were having, the good life in the hotel with the fire and being warm, just sat there in normal clothes. And, the ex-servicemen are just begging on the streets. There's something wrong if that's happening over here. I'll just pull that blind down. The sun's coming in. Give me 1 second. It's nice, the sun. I'm not complaining about it.